Hi everyone, my name is Susan Ayo Ikpe, and this is In Conversation with Susan Ayo Ikpe. This is the very first edition coming from the stable of Glam Essence magazine. I chose to take on those in the fashion industry as my first topic, and I also chose to talk to someone in that industry who has a lot of story to tell about how it is doing the fashion business in Nigeria, most especially when I'm hoping she joins us on time. We've had a conversation before. I get to see our guests hook up with us and we can get ahead with this conversation. But then again, I'd like to say welcome to everyone who has joined us so far. I think right now we're about to hook up with my guest. I think I should just introduce her. She's Debbie Ogunjobi Akindele Ojo. For many of the people who are in the corporate sector in Nigeria, Everywoman is the name of her business and is located here in Ikeja, Lagos. Oh, and by the way, I'm reaching you all from Ikeja, Lagos, Nigeria. I'm sure some of you are wondering, no, Susan, but you live in the US. Yes, I got locked up here because I came for a very important occasion, and then came the coronavirus, and then came the lockdown. And so I got myself locked down here in Nigeria. And so, well, business has to keep going. And here we are, debuting with something fresh from our stable. And that's this conversation that we're having right now. So I'm waiting for my guests to come on board and we can get this rolling. So, Debbie, we're waiting for you to hook up with us. So, before she comes on, let me just run you through some of the situations that we have with the fashion industry right now. Because of the lockdown, business have been slowed down. In some situations, some people have had to close their doors because the customers can't even come. So much has happened to make that impossible, with different countries coming up with laws and rules as to how, you can do business now. So what becomes of those whose daily bread is having people come to the stores to buy? I'm talking in terms of the fashion sector, and I'm also specifically dealing with people in the retail business of selling imported clothes, not the designers who make them, but those who actually take the clothes from the designers and put them in their stores. Right now in Lagos and in some other parts of the country, it's impossible to leave your homes to go do, transact business with your customers because there's certain restrictions. So what we'll be talking about is what life will be for those in the retail business of fashion post-COVID-19. Would they still be able to stay relevant? Would they still be able to do business? Would they have to do some changes to become to stay relevant in the industry? That is some of the things that I'm going to be having my guests this evening talk about. So once again, I want to say, oh my goodness, here you are, Debbie.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. It's so nice to see you. Okay, can you turn your phone so that we can see you? You're like upside down, so you need to turn your phone the other way around.
Like that?
You need to turn it. Oh my goodness! No, you still need to turn it.
It's fine now.
It's fine. Okay, it's fine right now. Oh wow! Okay. Oh my goodness! It's so good to see you. I'm seeing you. At least my first time seeing you this year, even though we get to talk on the phone. All because of COVID-19.
Now, wow, it's a new reality. It's a new world.
All right, that's my very beautiful guest. Debbie and I met several years ago, over 20 years now. It started as a journalist meeting. This young lady who was setting up a business that was like no other, and I got fascinated by what she was offering that was fresh. And then from being a journalist going to do her job, just reporting fashion and hearing it from the point of view of someone who is in that business, I found myself becoming not just a journalist to her. We became friends, and now I can, let me say, I can call her sister, right, Debbie?
Yeah.
And so it's indeed my pleasure to have you on this evening. And
I'm in
we'll
my
be talking
son's room,
about
by
so
the
many
way,
things.
so there are boyish things around.
Oh my goodness. Please say hello to Ali for me.
Ali, say hi, he's waving.
Hallelujah.
Say hi.
Hi.
You can hear his baritone, he's saying
All
good
right.
evening somewhere.
Okay, Debbie, but we'll before we go into the nitty-gritty of this conversation, I'm sure that a lot of people will be wondering, what it was like starting out for you in the fashion industry, being a retailer of fashion goods. So can you just take us through that?
Well, for me, starting in fashion was, when a lot of accidents happen, or you sense that there's a divine hand in a few accidents that happen, and then you find yourself doing something. So I wouldn't say that fashion was something that I planned. So, but I believe that anything that you set to do, you do well. And I believe that the first ingredient in any successful venture is diligence. These are traits that I have tried. I've tried to imbibe, that I've tried to learn. And for me, that helped. I think enterprise is when you think there's a gap that you can fill and make money at it. And for me, that was it. So starting Everywoman it was meant to have been a distraction, but God has a sense of humor. And then it did better than I expected. I thought it was something I'd do for like a year or so. But then it did better than I expected, and God has a sense of humor. Who would have thought it?
So how have you found the business? I mean, if we look at back when you started and right now, what are the phases that you've had to go with Everywoman as a retailer? I have to stress that because now you have a lot of people in Nigeria who are into the fashion industry actually creating their own lines, but you actually sell already made clothes and you actually bring them in. So when you look at
No,
how
but
you
funny enough,
started
we
and
have
where
our
you
own
are
lines
right
as
now.
well. We actually have our
Oh,
own
now
lines
you
as
have
well.
your own line.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
But
We have our
before
own lines
now,
as well.
before now, you were carrying other brands.
I did. Fashion retail has many. It's like a hydra. It has many heads, and it can spring up. I mean, you cut off one, another head springs up. So for me, fashion retail started with initially selling known brands. I mean, worldwide brands. I have friends around the world. I have friends in fashion. I have friends in very high fashion, and they always have factories. They have factories around the world, and most people don't understand how to monetize fashion retail. Like, I can give an example. People think that fashion retail, like what I do, is like buying and then going to sell, which is really pedestrian. Look, I don't earn money from Everywoman. I'm not a paid employee of Everywoman. The tax office and myself are always at the fight of this is what a CEO should earn, and I'm not. I work for Everywoman as a buyer.
So
What
is
that
that
means?
different from what some other people do in
Completely
terms of
different, because
being retailers?
what happens is I make money from the other end, not the selling end. The selling end, yes, has given me a business that has grown, but as a business model, every supplier abroad, I contribute to design because I have a wide population, a very wide population of customers around the world. So I know what a woman's body is. I know what fits a woman's body. I contribute in design, even from the conception stage. I contribute in fabric selection.
Okay.
And
Okay, so in
then
other words, you can also be seen as like you're also a designer
so I
of
work
what
with
you
them
carry as well.
and get paid. Yes, I work with them and get paid on that end. On the Nigerian end, yes, my business gets to grow, but because I'm not a liability to the business. In the sense, okay, let me give an example. A CEO wants to earn 2 million naira because you think that is what you're worth. Now, in retail, you're only worth what somebody's willing to pay you. So if you now put yourself in the salary bracket, you're going to ruin that business. It's almost impossible. So what you need to do is value chain and areas where you make money out of the business. Look, I can be in a building where I'm the sole tenant of the building and sublet. That's a value chain. People don't think of that. Now, people can come to me, like now I have a range of younger Nigerian designers who design, and I've managed to persuade them that, you know, selling ready to wear, that's not expensive, is the way to go. Instead of you design something and you're waiting for one person to buy it for 150,000 and then one celebrity will wear it.
So
The
you can
celebrity will
actually
not
spread your product to other stores to pick up and display in the store and sell.
So I have a few Nigerian designers that I worked with. They've been able to create factories. They sell abroad. That's another value chain. That's value that you add that most people don't get. So it's not a question of, oh, I want to sell clothes. Because if you are waiting for I want to sell clothes, it means that the clothes that you're selling have to pay for your travel. They have to pay for your accommodation. They have to pay for the time that you're there. They have to pay for for so many things. That's why you find that people say times 500% for them to get the actual cost.
But okay, Debbie, another thing, you also have to realize that you kind of like have taught your own business over. You started out before going in, but then I know that at the point in time, there were challenges that every woman had to go through as a retail store. You know, actually doing solely clothes from some other parts of the world. What are the challenges that you had to overcome to stay relevant in the business? Because I mean, you've been doing this for over 20 years and you're still as relevant now as you were when you started. So what are the challenges you've had to overcome? I mean, I'm asking this question because there are also people who right now, that I mean, we can also tell you, I mean, very clearly right now that there are some businesses that most people will have to quit to want to start their own business. And they might be looking at your kind of business. So can you just, let's have an idea of some of those things that you had to overcome to still be able to keep the business running?
Okay, the first and most painful lesson I learned, oh, you were around during that lesson, if you remember correctly, you were part of my support structure when the crying began, is as a retailer, you are not your customer. You don't buy what suits you and what you like. You buy what the majority like. Do you remember those trouser suits I got one time? Very expensive trouser suits that cost over $100 that I sold for 2,000. You were part of my crying situation that time. Do you remember? Was it 98 or 99?
Yes.
That was one of the most painful losses and that was because
we're doing like a high-end brand.
Yeah, that was and then that was painful. But you know, in fashion, they call the fashion trade, they call it the rag trade abroad. And the reason why they call it the rag trade, at least this is my opinion, is once it's not on a hanger, it's a rag. So don't get attached to what you're selling. That's my conclusion. Once it's not on a hanger, on display, it's a rag. So that's why they call it the rag trade. Now, people tend to get attached to it. There are times that you take a loss. You see me do crazy sales where I'll sell things that used to be 50K for 1,000 naira. That's the rag trade for you. Because sometimes you follow trend. And what happens when people follow trend? You will go bankrupt because fashion is fickle. Fashion is not anybody's friend.
That's something you never did. You know, like following the trend.
Well, I did it in 99, and after I learned that lesson, I never did it again. I've never done it again. I tend to go for the conservative. Look, and I'm very practical. I'm practical in what I do. You want to run a business. Look at global warming now. Look at how hot it is. Your customers, I keep telling, I mean, I've fought with a lot of suppliers. My customers don't want lined suits. It's hot. What happens when you wear lined suits is that you look like, you know, when you fry a sausage, that skin wants to explode because you sweat.
Oh my goodness.
So, you know, you have to adapt yourself to the situation of your customers. So for me, I'm not attached to the business. In that, it's a business for me. It's not some sort of calling. So I tend to treat it like a business. Okay.
So do you think that's the mistake some of those who have not been able to keep themselves in the business for too long, do you think that's a mistake they're making with their business?
Yes, because another thing, yes, I think so. I think part of the business is they get easily discouraged. And you know, enterprise is not for the faint-hearted. You learn different ways.
Lose and you can win.
Yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted. I mean, there are days where you want to sit down on the floor and bawl your eyes out. So, and it's not a side hustle. It's not a side hustle for the simple reason that Nigerian employees are the bane of Nigerian businesses. They are, I'm telling you, the way I've survived business is everybody's a thief. I just haven't caught you yet. That way I don't get heartbroken.
Oh my God, that's a good one. But,
Yeah.
But Debbie, let me quickly take you through this. Right now, the pandemic has happened. Coronavirus has humbled the world. That's the way I want to put it, because everything just went quiet. And I never thought that in my lifetime I'll see a thing like this happen. But hey, it has happened. And then the economy of every country seems to have had their own part of, he'd been hit by this pandemic. I specifically chose to talk on the fashion industry because I know that right now that is the worst hit. I think so, and I believe that's the right assumption. And especially for those who are into the retail business. So if you were to look at what has happened right now, what do you think will be the way out for those who are in that business, haven't gone through the lockdown of not being able to do business for close to two months or thereabout?
3 months.
How would you describe the experience for you? Let's take that first.
Okay. Fashion has been hit, yes, but fashion is not as badly hit as some. I was speaking to one of my mentors and my big sister Muji Dokwesi, and she said, the heavens are falling and we're all under it. You are not alone. Now, my husband went to a hotel yesterday. I don't know I think he wanted to get something, and he drove into a hotel. A hotel is completely empty.
Exactly.
Not even in the car park. Now, do you want to know the amount of food that has expired? Do you know how much money?
Oh my goodness, that's horrible to know.
Do you know, when I thought of it, I don't know the people that owns a hotel and all the other hotels. I felt so bad, and that has been the case. And they don't know when this is going to end. Can you imagine the catastrophe? Now, for fashion, it's not great for us to not earn money. I won't lie to you. I've been in a successful and comfortable position for the past 23, 24 years where I make money. The only day I don't make money, in fact, I make money on a Sunday. So for me, it's unusual that at a particular time, no alerts.
Oh my goodness, no alert. There's no alert. From which part now? From all the branches or just one branch?
Everybody was home. So which alert? So I thought, I think that almost gave me a nervous breakdown because I'm sorry, it has never happened to me. And it's not in my working life. And I said to my daughter,
it never happened to anybody.
Can you imagine? I said to my daughter
that
Susan, let me make you laugh. My daughter wanted to buy something during that time when my body was still very hot. And I said that, do you know that I'm currently unemployed? Because the situation.
Most kids don't understand. They want something, they gotta get it.
Can you imagine her telling me that she wanted to buy something from Amazon in the London? I was like, in the London? Wow. Are you serious? And that was a bit of a spiritual awakening for me. Now, for people in fashion, my advice is this. Look, you are not as badly hit as people that have event centers, as people that sell perishables. You are not as badly hit. So if you are feeling sorry for yourself, snap out of it.
Wow.
The second thing, secure your goods. Secure your goods. Okay. What are the first things I did?
Secure your goods. Okay.
Secure your goods. Because you are only worth as much as your inventory and what you have been able to save. Now, in Nigerian business, when the celebrity culture started, I think about 4, 5, or 6 years ago, this crazy celebrity culture of live this wonderful life on Instagram. I spoke to somebody.
A slayer on the Instagram.
Yes, I remember I spoke to somebody in Vanguard, and she was interviewing me and asking me questions about what I would tell the younger ones. And I said to them that if you are running a business, whether that business is yourself, that's when you're a celebrity, or it's a service or goods, and for some reason you cannot sustain yourself for a year, you are poor. You are extremely poor. Now, when I said that, I must have sounded old-fashioned and
They don't get it. They don't get people like you because that's not the way they think these days.
Somebody I mentored called me, and this is because she had called me, I think, sometime last year. She was having 2 years ago, she was having some problems with business, and I think the dollar or something had crashed her. So the loans she had to pay back was too high. So I said to her that, we'll call these people to a table, because what, a living debtor is better for you than a dead one. So you can negotiate. People forget one thing. The fact that I owe you money, it's not the end of the world. We can negotiate. Yeah. She negotiated and agreed to pay a painful amount to wipe off the money instantly. So she wiped off the money. Then I told her there was another thing she had, an asset she had that she was holding on to. And I said to her, the way these elections and whatever are looking, it's not looking good. Get rid of it, even if it's at a loss. And I said to her that there was something that I was thinking of getting rid of, and it was almost half price, and she was aghast. But I said to her, get rid of it. I know what I'm telling you. I know what I'm telling you. And she listened to me. She called me about 2 weeks ago to just start praying. I didn't know what had happened. And then she just said she wanted to thank me. I said, why? I said, because Auntie Debbie, I'm going to have to leave and support my family for the next 1 year. And guess what? I got it all covered. I said, didn't I tell you?
Wow.
Look, the issue, and when I was advising her, I wasn't even thinking pandemic. I was thinking as we get older, we start getting life issues. We start getting issues with our health, emotional issues that sometimes you just may not be on your game for like 6 months. So I always tell people, be liquid, be financially solvent.
But the truth of the matter is, Debbie, it's not as if they don't want to be liquid. Sometimes a lot of people are dealing with so many, their hands are in so many pies. And so they're stretching,
Susan, I don't agree.
What they've got.
Susan, I don't agree. Guess what? Because doing all that, their dealings, they still do the weddings, they still do the extravagant burials. So don't tell me that, because a Nigerian will find money for frivolities. It's for you to determine what is a frivolity.
That's true.
It's for you to determine what is a frivolity. Look,
is it a case of people don't go into the business planning correctly before they veer into the businesses that they
because look at all of us now. Look at all of us now. We're home. Yesterday was the first time I was going to go out of my house for like a meeting I had. I was letting go of my coleslaw. I let go of my coleslaw yesterday because I looked at what are the things that are draining money that's not coming in, and I need to start plug. Another thing that people should, apart from securing your goods, plug every hole. What is draining money from you now? Plug it. I got rid of the coleslaw, and I told the landlord, guess what? Within a week I'll be out of there. I don't want it. Why?
Wow.
It doesn't make any sense. Why keep? Because look, another thing that Nigerians do, and I think it's mostly peculiar to Nigerians, we bring our egos into business. Right now, bottom line is, you don't know what you're worth. You really don't. Because even if you've saved money for 10 years, what if you live to be 96? Can you imagine? Are you trying to commit suicide at that time? So it's stretching the resources you have. Keep as a fashion retailer, keep all your inventory. Don't panic, and don't put yourself on the back burner where people call you and name their price. Look, the bottom line is this: most of the suppliers abroad, they are in serious trouble.
I know. I keep reading about that, and that worries me. And then I wonder how we are going to cope if they that have all the access to money and all of that are having this kind of problems that they're going to be facing after the COVID-19 pandemic. So what becomes of the Nigerian environment where it's even difficult to get loans from banks and all of that?
I actually don't even think anybody should get a loan at the moment. Don't get a loan.
Okay, can I ask you this, Debbie? What shouldn't a retailer of fashion be doing at this point in time in view of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Cut your, okay, I cut my staff in half. I didn't have a choice. Money wasn't coming in. I had to cut my staff in half. I only kept on the people that I need. All my security, I kept on. There are some people that are willing to work for half pay. We had a meeting on WhatsApp. I kept them for half pay.
Half pay. Okay.
Yes.
I thought you said half day. I was going to say, how does
No,
that
no,
work?
half pay. If you are willing to work for half pay, yes. But if you are wanting your full salary, try somebody else. I can't afford it.
Wow.
Do
I'm
you
trying to
understand?
do that where I work now. I'm trying to
Yeah.
do that with my business, but it's like I'm feeling like, am I doing something that might be making the other person not be able to meet their needs?
No, it's not a question of meeting their needs. I can't meet my needs. I'm
Okay.
not for Christmas. Look, if a structure is unfit for purpose, dismantle it.
Wow.
For the purpose of
Okay.
surviving the pandemic, you cannot have a full
Wow.
salary structure. Right now, we're all on survival mode. So if
Wow.
you have a full
Okay,
salary
can I just
structure, you are
can I
dipping
just
into the
take you
profit.
through? But I know that right now a lot of people have had to fall back on doing e-commerce, going online and trying to get business for the stores. How has that? If you're doing that, how has that worked for you? And how would
E-commerce
that
is
work I mean, after the pandemic is over, how would the e-commerce way of staying in business help?
well, even before the COVID-19, there in retail right now, there are two words around the world that is taking the world by storm. Is bricks and mortar versus e-commerce. Bricks and mortar is what is referred to as the shops, the physical shops that you go into, you change. E-commerce is when you buy online. Now, let me give you an example. Primark is one of the most successful retail stores in the world. Now, they closed and they were making £690 million every month.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
lot of money.
And guess what?
And yet they closed down.
They closed mid-March, and Primark has not earned CC as we speak. That's Primark.
Wow.
ASOS is strictly an online store. Boohoo is an online store. Their sales has gone down by maybe about 15-20%. They're still in business.
Oh my goodness, that's scary to hear. So Debbie, we lost you there. Network problem as usual.
Yeah.
Can
you hear
back
me?
on. So I can hear you clearly.
Okay,
I
great.
can hear you clearly. All right.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the losses that have.
Yeah, what I would like from I think I confided in you about 2 years ago that I only wanted one store.
Okay.
Maximum. So for me, the goal is one store. One store is fine. One store and then go online. There are ways to do this thing. Like if you're not paying rents, you're not paying generator, you're not paying all sorts of crazy local government taxes, you can actually afford to give
Crazy
free
local
delivery.
government taxes.
Yeah, you can actually afford to give free delivery from a remote location. So for me, that the plan for Everywoman for the past 3 years has been to shut down most of our bricks and mortar, keep one or two maximum, and then go online. So for me, that has been the plan. COVID is going to make it happen faster than before.
Okay. So in other words, you want to consider the fact that the COVID-19 happened, and you want to see like kind of blessing for the retail store owners if they tap into that.
Well, if you are irrelevant before, if you are irrelevant as a brick and mortar store, you are going to be relevant as an online store.
Oh wow.
Because what are you selling? Okay, let me give you an example. Fashion is going through a radical phase right now, and it's in fashion. Before, fashion has gone through many phases. We went through the structured phase where everything has to be fitted, with the bone. Everything has to be fit to a particular body. Fashion has moved to almost a Mediterranean, Middle Eastern. No, everything is going back to free flowing.
Yeah, that's true. I see a lot of people not wanting to do the tight, huggy clothes and all of that, and wanting to be more fluid and free. So, is that what you also are tapping into?
Yeah, because that's what customers are asking for. No, the honest truth is nobody wants to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be uncomfortable. And then people are finding that enterprise is becoming more the expression of people that want to work commercially. Now, these people are not regimented. Even the banks are relaxing their rules on clothes. So what you find is it's helping e-commerce.
Can you say that again? The banks are doing what?
The banks are relaxing even the regimen that they implemented. They're not as strict as they used to be. They're not.
Oh, okay.
So there are some offices now where you can in Nigeria where you can work remotely from home. And this was even before the pandemic.
Okay.
I can give you an example. When she used to work, when she first started working for us.
If I predict what we should be seeing in that sector, in the fashion sector, for especially as it concerns those who are in the retail business, after the COVID-19 pandemic, that's post COVID-19, what would you be saying that to those who are doing that business that to put in place if they want to still stay in business? Because the truth of the matter is a lot of them who have had to close shop, some are saying that they rather do business from their home. Some don't seem to understand the online business yet. And so like the tips you would share with retailers who are in that category?
Okay, the first tip right now is get your sizing sorted out. And the typical Nigerian tailor can't produce one thing 500 times identically. That's going to be a problem for online.
Okay.
So you want to get your sizes. For the fashion, I hope the fashion people are listening. Yeah, you want to get your fashion sizes like in between. Your size 10 should fit a size 8 and a size 10. Your size 12 should fit a size 12 and a size 14. I mean, there are tricks of the trade where by cut of elasticated seams in different areas can elongate, not elongate really, can make a size more, it can give you in between sizes. Like there's when I first started business, there was a company that used to exist. They closed down now. They used to do size 11, size 13, in between sizes. Okay. Now, what you find that works best in online for fashion, forget all the European size 12, size 10, it won't work. Switch to small, large, extra large, 2 extra large. That way you can work strictly in between sizes.
So are you talking, this advice is for people who are ready to wear
yes, because ready to wear right now. You want to cast your net far and wide. Don't wait for that customer to come to you. If you can make something, if you were making one thing that's 20K, consider whether you can make 30 of those things at 8,000 naira and sell on Jumia and collect your money and carry your face.
But how does that pay them, Debbie? How do you make money when you know that? I mean, how do you get to do that in view of all the things that are involved in it?
Just cut a percent for your
staff, getting the materials. How do you How can you cut something from 20 to 8,000? How would that? How do you break even doing that?
It didn't cost 18K to make it in the first place. Susan, we're in this business. It did not.
Oh my goodness, that's stiff.
We didn't. And then if you cut your things according to your pattern,
all you need to do is a little amount of money as profit on whatever it is that you're making.
Yeah. The issue is this. Isn't it better? Okay, like a lot of people used to, they felt I was dragging the fashion business down. They even wrote letters to my suppliers abroad not to sell things to me that I will sell 3 suits at 10K. He doesn't mind making 1,000 naira on a suit. Guess what? I sold thousands of suits. But when I was doing it at 25K for one,
more affordable.
Depends. Exactly. So think big. Think big. Look, I went to one exhibition abroad and I met the person that makes suits for Primark. And our suits were beautiful. The fabrics were wonderful. I wanted to get some for myself. Do you know, I was not on their level for this. And me, I like to think that I can buy thousands. What is that? She told me what Primark orders. Primark orders, listen to this suit, listen to this. What my own supplier would tell me, $40. Primark orders 20,000 per size.
Pieces.
Per size.
20,000
for every size. Yes. So which means for every size,
wow.
Primark orders 120.
For every size, that means you're talking about 20,000 pieces of size 8, 20,000 pieces of size 10. Is that what you're
God
saying
bless
here?
you. God bless
Are you
you.
kidding me?
So she says that she has a minimum order per style of, they normally do 4 colors of that 20,000 per style, so 120,000.
Wow.
What my own supplier said that best, last was $40. Guess how much she was giving them? 15. Economics of
$15.
scale. Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Economics of, I'm telling you, economics of scale.
Wow.
Do you
So
understand?
in other words,
Because when you are
Debbie,
buying,
what you're saying here now is that a lot of the stores, retail stores, or stores here, are you trying to say now that we are overpriced?
you are overpriced, yes.
Wow.
You are overpriced, and you don't specialize in a particular thing, so you don't have a particular range that people know you for, a jack of all trades that nobody knows you for. Somebody comes, somebody
Wow.
likes what they wore on you, you cannot reproduce it, you cannot find the fabric again. It's
So
so
how
you
do you
can't. I
make,
mean,
how
how
do
can you
you
make money at it?
overcome that? How does that work for, how are you able to do that with your own store, with Everywoman? How are you able to do that? How are you able to restock a collection and be able to reproduce it, have access to the fabrics to reproduce this collection again? How is that easy for you to do?
Well, in the simple reason that because I tend to buy more, if I enter a fabric market,
Explain the reason for the difference in pricing for the retail person who wants to do small order and the person who's doing a larger one. Specialize in one thing and be damn good at it. I hope someone is listening out there. So outside of that, what else can you say to them that, especially, I know that we're going to have a lot of women, not just women, we're going to have a lot of people who would want to have to start out in business too. Either they've lost their corporate jobs. A lot of people have lost their jobs at this point because of the COVID-19 situation, and they might be going into business themselves. So what would you say they need to take into consideration before veering into it, in view of all the things you've said? Well, it's obvious that doing business in Nigeria is going to be a totally different ball game post COVID-19, because I mean, Debbie has like blown our minds with what will be the norm, the new norm. Definitely, it's not going to be business as usual. We've all gotten used to the fact that we don't even need to leave the comfort of our homes to go shop for anything. We can go online. There's several online outlets that we can visit in the comfort of our homes and shop, and we have the opportunity to actually compare prices. We can look at what this other outlet is offering, and if they have it here as well, and we see who has the best price, and we just choose to buy. And the beauty of it is that if I don't like it, I can always return. So that's what online has done, and I know that's going to be the new norm, whether we like it or not. A lot of the store owners have to start preparing themselves for what life will be in terms of will I still be able to keep my store and expect people to walk in, because not everyone these days is interested in coming into the store to buy anything. They rather go online to do their purchase, and then if they don't like it, they have a 7-day grace or 14-day grace to return whatever it is that they have taken. That will be the new norm come the end of this pandemic for retail store owners who are in the fashion business. And thank God Debbie was able to share some of her own ways of having stayed in the business. I don't know if Debbie, are we having you back on?
I think so, but it's frozen.
Oh, fantastic. I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly. I have to see if people can hear you as well. We have to be sure that people can hear you too.
Can they hear?
Let us know if we can hear Debbie. Just send us a text so we know if you can hear Debbie. I can hear her, but I don't know if and your video is not showing yet, Debbie.
My what?
We can't see you yet. We can't see you online.
Now I don't understand
now, but we
that.
can't see you.
I do not understand that.
We can't see your face.
I have to confess that I'm not that good with this, and my engineer has run off.
We're in this together, babe.
But I don't understand what happened. It just stopped showing.
Okay, we can hear you now, but we can't see you, Debbie.
Let them manage the hearing. Let's get the most important information.
But they want to see your pretty face, Debbie. They want to see your face, please.
No, but
get the engineer to help us.
You should send me the if I log off, you send the request, because I think it's because I'm sending the request. Maybe that's why.
Oh.
So I should log off
again.
Just
join. Okay, join. Debbie, just join, and then we'll do what we need to do from here. You join.
I've already joined. Should I sign out?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sign out, then join again. Sign out and join again.
Okay.
Thank you for all those who have joined us. I can see Jumbo. I can see my friend Molly, Rezi. I can also see Matilda. Oh my goodness, I can see Funke Osai Brown. Thank you for joining us. I can also see I can see quite a lot of people here. Thank you for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed every minute of our conversation with Debbie. I hope everything that we've also spoken about will be of some use to those who are in that industry. Whilst we're waiting for Debbie to join us as we're about to conclude, I know it's not going to be the way business has been with the fashion industry as it was before COVID-19 came. And it's not peculiar to this part of the world. It's going to be the same across board. A lot of designers who are, making clothes, who are making shoes, making accessories, are going to have to re-evaluate how business will be done. Thank God for the fact that a lot of people had taken up the time to go online and start to introduce and converse with the customers and interacting with them, trying to find out what it is that they want and what it is that they do not want, and then be able to, and what you're getting is service that the people want. So, I mean, that will be the new normal come after the pandemic is over. We pray it goes soon because we're all tired. We want to have life like it was before, even though we know it's not going to be exactly that way. But then, hey, we all have to start preparing for that time. But for retailers in the fashion business, there's a need to do a reevaluation of your business to be able to stay relevant in the scheme of things, because it's not going to be the same as it was before the pandemic visited each and every one of our countries. Right now, over 50% of boutique owners are opting for online sale. Thank God for that. But not all of them are having a success story with it, perhaps because they're not going about it the wrong way, the right way. But I believe that as we continue to converse with people who are hooking onto your store, your site, things might just begin to change for the better. I'm trying to find out if Debbie is on with us again.
We need to connect with her.
Okay, we're trying to connect her back so that we can be able to wrap up our conversation with her this evening. It's been an exciting time for me having this chat with her. It's even an eye-opener for me because I'm also in the business of fashion, and hearing all that she has to share this evening has been very beneficial for me. And I believe the same for a lot of the other people who are going to get to watch this chat much, much later. Having to do certain things to, prepare for the future for your business, because nobody envisaged that the day will come where our stores will be shut and where the customers will no longer come out to shop with us. But that's the reality that we are faced with right now. And to God be the glory, things are beginning to pick up life begin to pick up gradually, but used to be where we know that the weekends there are going to be people coming to the stores to either have their dress made or they're coming to buy off the shelf. But then we hope that things turn around for good for those who are in the retail business, and we keep the people who have been with us doing this business with us, still doing, customers who've been doing business with the retailers still being able to come in and shop with them. So I don't know if has Debbie been able to connect with us?
Okay, I can see you now, but still no video.
Fantastic. I can see you too.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if everyone else can see her now.
My video is still rolling.
Your video is still rolling, but let's just talk, Debbie.
Okay,
just
great.
Keep going. Okay.
All right. Where were we?
We were talking about, what everyone needs to do if they want to stay relevant post-COVID.
Okay. We started with secure your inventory.
Yes.
Number 2, plug every hole. Okay. Whatever.
Plug every hole.
That means, let me give an example. A member of my staff, when we were closing, when we were evacuating the Koi store yesterday, showed up, and this is not somebody that is very inconsistent, and as thorough as it can be when it chooses to be, is very inconsistent. And I said to him, there are no sentiments here. You are not somebody I would keep during such a time as this. Look, business is not sentimental. Whether you like it or not, your employee is looking for the best opportunity for them, which is fair enough. But please respect the fact that I am also looking for the best opportunity for me and my business. Because everybody will eventually move on. Now, the third thing, if a structure you have established is unfit for purpose, dismantle it.
Wow. Unfit for purpose, dismantle.
Yes, if you're paying unreasonable rents and you're not seeing commensurate, how do I say it? If your rent that you're paying,
revenue,
your first month can't clear it, you have no business paying that rent.
Wow.
Another thing is for people to do an ego check. What are you doing that is your ego?
What do you mean by ego check right now?
Everybody needs to do an ego check. Go and do your ego check. What are you doing that is your ego or that you need? Whether we like it or not, times have changed. Times have changed completely. And the most important thing is get your mind in the game for what next is to come. Now, there's another thing which I believe probably cancels everything I've said. Your mental health. This is not the time to get depressed. That's not going to help. That is not going to help. Surround yourself with people that have something.
As it is, we're almost out of time. It's been quite challenging doing this for the edition because of all the technicalities involved, but I know we're going to get better with our next edition. I want to say thank you to everyone who joined us today. I want to say a big thank you to Debbie. She's just fresh when it comes to all this online chats, but I know we will get better. So I want to say thank you for being a part of In Conversation with Susan Ikpe. We promise to come your way again very soon with another interesting personality within the fashion industry. Until I meet you again, thank you for watching. God bless everyone.